understand is, are you saying that I can't control this tendency to control?
But there is no necessity to control. For each and every moment is a momentary one.
Just let it do it. Let it identify with the action.
It disappears even before you controlling it. It disappears. Whatever comes will disappear if it does not have any necessity to your control. No necessity to control. Even before your control, all happening comes, all feeling comes and disappears on itself. Only because of controlling, we give life to that temporary feeling, momentary feeling. Otherwise, nothing can exist for more than a fraction of a second. Each and every moment, new feeling, new thought alone can come.
But the feeling of ownership, the feeling of control happens naturally also.
But if it happens naturally, you don't worry about that. If it is a natural response to control your mind, so it is also a momentary one. If it happens naturally, but if you have the idea, if you are ideologically clear that you need not control yourself, you need not regulate yourself, then in spite of your understanding, if you have some response to control yourself, this will also come unconsciously for a fraction of a second. And afterwards you will know you are unconsciously trying to control yourself. At the very moment you will stop. Afterwards you have to control yourself consciously. So don't do it consciously. If it happens to regulate yourself, do it unconsciously, unintentionally. That is not the problem. If anything happens unintentionally, unconsciously, it will clear itself on its own. We have no business. We have no duty. So we have to give up our conscious duty, our intentional duty. That alone is necessary. That alone is enough. You need not worry about the ownership. If it comes naturally, it will go away freely. You need not struggle to free from the ownership itself. So whatever comes naturally, you need not worry about that. But all comes when you try to do something in this way or that way, then only you make a owner, make yourself the subjective consciousness. So if it happens unconsciously, you need not worry about that. But don't do it consciously. If you do it consciously, you are consciously making you the owner. If you unconsciously making you the owner, it is not the problem. But such kind of unconscious ownership will go away in a moment by moment. It will go away, and you need not worry about the unconscious ownership. Don't consciously take the ownership.
But most of the time, it seems it comes to me unconsciously. And I think it's here since 50 years. I think this feeling comes to me, but unconsciously I don't try to be the owner, you know. It comes because I'm programmed like that, I'm conditioned. I've been conditioned like that.
We need not worry about that. We need not worry about that. You may be the unconscious owner, but it is not the problem. But don't do it consciously. But if you try to free from ownership itself, creating another ownership. So it is a trap. It is a vicious circle. Then we cannot free from our ownership. So the main thing we have to do, we should not do anything consciously. We have to allow the total mind function unconsciously. We have no conscious business with regard to our mind. We have our conscious business only to the external world. We have no business, we have no duty consciously. Whatever happens in our mind, let it happen unconsciously, including yourself. Your ownership may happen, whatever may happen, let it happen unconsciously.
What about conscious caring for this body and mind, you know, the conscious acts of caring for it?
No, caring is also an external thing.
It's external.
External thing. Caring, you are consciously, you have to care, you have to take care. But the conscious, the psychological happenings, happens only unconsciously. But afterwards alone, after the happening happened alone, we are conscious of that.
We leave it alone.
When we conscious of that, it is already over. And we need not try to control what that is already over. And it is moment by moment, it comes and goes, comes and goes. That is the moment of our psychological structure. We need not worry about it.
So when you say that, it pops up in me. There is this conditioning that when I first enter the spiritual world, all these concepts, they say you should become aware of yourself because you are unconscious, and that's why you suffer, because you have all these unconscious behavior which makes you suffer, and you should become conscious. And somehow I reminded in this kind of conditioning that we should be alert, we should be conscious, so we can, the policeman, we could be the policeman of ourselves. But as you say, it is a vicious circle.
Ramana Maharishi himself says like that in the beginning. We must aware that we must have the feeling I am Atma itself. We may have the awareness that I am Atma. So he says like Atma Sakshatkar. He used the word Atma Sakshatkar. Sakshat means we have to feel I am Atma. The feeling of Atma we must have. Then only all problem, all questions, all doubt will go away from us. He will use the very same word. Atma Sakshatkar. Then Atma Sakshatkar alone is the only answer, only remedy. That is the self-awareness. The self-awareness only is the only remedy to solve all problem, all our doubt. And then one questioner asked, whether it is Atma Sakshatkar, the self-awareness, is a conscious one that we can visualize it as we can witness it as if we can see other person, just like that is a pratyaksha. That's just like object. Just subject and object. As I witness another person, as we see another person, in this way can we know I am aware of myself. Is it possible? When he asks like that, then only he take the different stand. So we can never aware of myself. It is impossible. We cannot aware of ourselves. We cannot know I am Atman. It is impossible. He will also say, do this. We can know only thing what is not Atma, what is not the awareness. We can know only we can come out in the negative way. We cannot know positively. We cannot know positively I am Atma. So we can come to that state only in the negative way. I am not, the body is not Atman, no, nothing is Atman. So by disregarding everything, by Nedi, then only we can have the positive state. And we cannot directly feel I am Atma. It is impossible. It is not possible.
So this fear that I was talking about was the fear of being unconscious and just act badly. Just act out all your impulses, your dark impulses. Without, like, this is the thought behind the controller. I should control myself so I do not act like an animal or, create suffering for myself or others.
But we are trained like that, with such kind of thoughts comes unconsciously.
Yeah.
But naturally, if you take care of what, according to if you take care only the circumstances, then we need not struggle with our mind. We can straightly use our mind to the situation. But instead of that, we are trying to deal with the mind alone. This mind must behave like that, this mind must function like that. So thereby we are dealing with only the mind. We are not dealing with the situation. We are entitled to deal with only the situation. We are not entitled to deal with the mind. The deal with our mind is a free mind. We have to use our mind. We should not deal with our mind. We can deal with only the situation. Situation is the real thing. Mind is not the real thing. The psychological problem is not a real thing. It comes as a reaction to the situation. We can make use of a reaction to deal with the situation. But instead of dealing with the situation, if you deal with the mind itself, it is the unnatural one. It is not the natural one. That is the real problem. But the natural life is the natural life. The real problem is only the psychology. There is no real problem in the externally, but we think the problem is in the external world. Actually, the problem is not in the external world. All our problem is only psychological. But we club the two into one. So we make the psychological problem as the physical problem and the physical problem as the psychological. We club them into one. Actually, if you by solving the physical problem, thereby you get salvation in your mind, that is a temporary salvation. But you cannot solve all the situation correctly. There are many situations that you cannot solve permanently. For example, somebody may die and you may get some sorrow. You cannot give life to the dead person so that you can be satisfied. But if you are completely free from the psychological problem, then the worldly problem is not at all a problem. So the psychological things we can very easily clear, because we need not struggle. When you allow them to flow, free flow, nothing will take root. But according to the circumstances, everything may come. Good feeling, bad feeling, everything may come. But it will not take any root. All things may come and go within a free movement. As a free movement of a river, all things will go like a river. And no feeling will take root. So we need not worry about the psychological problem. Even though the psychological problem is a real problem, how to solve the psychological problem is to put down the total mind. We need not go into the psychological structure and correct the psychological thing. We have to give up the psychological structure. Then by giving up the total psychological structure, in itself it clears. On its own it clears itself. We have no business. That is the real witness. The real witness is the salvation. The total mind becomes the witnessing consciousness. It is a different kind of the total mind becomes the liberated. The liberated mind is the name of the witness. The witness and the liberated mind is the same. There is no difference between the witnessing state and the liberated mind. Both are same. So when you do not assume any responsibility to change yourself, thereby you assume the role of the witness. Then you have the liberated mind. So they both are same. So then only the real salvation is.
Then do you, the identification with the liberated mind, and then it's another trap.
We have no connection to liberated mind. Liberated mind is a happening. We have nothing, no business to.
It's free, it's universal.
If you expect liberation mind, it is not a liberated mind. We have no business to liberated mind. Liberated mind is a natural state of our mind. We have no business. It is in its own. We have no business. We have our business only to the level of understanding. To the level of understanding, we have to work. What we have to do, what we should not do. Then only we can understand. We have no business. To that level of understanding, we have our business. After that, we have no business. Everything will take care of it on its own. If you select The liberated mind, if you choose the liberated mind for the happening, then it is against the struggling mind. The struggling mind is only our effort. We create a liberated mind, we do it into a struggling mind. If we expect something, we make it a struggling one.
There's some effort is necessary though. I mean, it's not like there is no effort before liberation, because you need to make an effort to relax, for example. You have to make an effort to take time.
If you try to relax, it is also an effort.
Yoga is an effort to relax, no?
But we should not execute. No execution is necessary. With regard to the psychological structure, the relaxation is a kind of effort. The understanding alone is a remedy. If you understand, you know work. So the very understanding will give you relaxation.
But physical effort.
If you try to relax, it is not at all relaxation. It is an effort. It is a struggling.
It's like, I think of it like guitar strings, you know, it can't be too tight, it can't be too loose also, because if you're too lazy also, it's no good, right? I mean, it also causes problems.
But psychologically you have to be lazy. But physically you have to work. Whatever thing you have to do, only the external things. There only you have to be active. You should not be lazy. But psychologically you have to be lazy. You have no work. You have to sleep. You have to be carried along with the river. The total thing must be carried. You yourself is a part of the mind. So you have to allow ourselves to be taken along with the mind. We have no business. We have to be lazy. We have to sleep. We have no business. Psychologically, we have to be lazy.
With my former guru, he put a lot of emphasis. He was a psychologist, and he was a Westerner, Brazilian. So he put a lot of emphasis on psychological work because so many of the people who came to him had histories of being sexual abuse or just of unresolved problems from childhood experiences and also from men, women, from relationships. Sometimes it seemed like they really got stuck in that. And the idea was to clean it out, look at it, put the light on, clean it out, and then you can do the spiritual work. I don't know, I don't want to, it was just a different way. Sometimes it seems to me some people have big barriers to just what you're saying because they have such problematic psychology. For other people it may be easier. Like maybe it's easier for me now. I've come to Advaita a few years ago. I don't think I was ready. So what do you think? Do you think at some point some people need to go to the psychologist or to do it before they're ready, before they can let go? Or is it only going to make it more real?
So if there are some psychological, it created some depression, or it is very strong, just like a disease, then it is as a treatment they can go for that psychological treatment. Otherwise, we need not go. But in the preparatory stage, each and everybody has to have some spiritual practices, meditation and everything, some kind of training. Then only we can have some idea of dealing with ourselves. And after the understanding how the meditation works, how our effort works with regarding to our psychological structure, then only have the comprehensive idea that all the efforts of ourselves, all our efforts upon our mind. So then only we can have this total idea. No effort against ourselves will not be a good one. Then only we can give all our efforts against ourselves. So then only it is possible for ourselves to let the total mind free. So when we put the total mind free, we are part of the mind. So we ourselves are also free. Because we are not free from the mind, we are not out of the mind. We are also part of the mind. When we put the total freedom to our mind, that means we are giving total freedom to ourselves also. We have to free ourselves. Only because of our struggle, we are imprisoned ourselves. We are making us slave to what we are. But otherwise, we are free. So, in the olden days, many people got liberation through this process, putting everything in the hands of God. Thereby, we disown our responsibility. So, the disowning by giving everything in the hands of God, thereby we disown our responsibility. Here, whether you place your burden on the hands of God or not, that is not the problem. The necessary thing, you have to disown your responsibility. That alone is necessary. You can put down your responsibility by using the name of God. Or you can use understanding. You have no business, and thereby you can put down your responsibility. That is the next result. When you put down your responsibility, your total mind becomes a liberated mind. Then your all problems solves. That is the main thing. Here we have to put down our responsibility. That is the main thing. But at the same time, such kind of devotion to put everything in the hands of God, in olden days it is very easy. But nowadays we cannot give everything in the hands of God. We may give to the God if you try it to the certain extent. Afterwards we will take back from the God himself. Please, I will do for myself. Please go, wait for a minute. I have better capacity than you in that circumstances. You will take the responsibility in your hand. But this is not the time to put down everything in the hands of God.
Sorry, sir?
We cannot give in these circumstances, in this age. It is impossible to put down everything in the hands of God. So if you want to give anything in the hands of God, give him the psychological structure in the hands of God. And, take the external world in your hand. Give up your psychological world in the hands of God. Whatever happens psychologically, you take care of it.
If I want to make a hold up, I decide
Robbery.
Robbery.
Hold up.
Robbery.
Robbery. I need some money.
Yeah.
Robbery. I say, it's not me. It's the will of God. God is acting.
This is external things. Held up in the robbery, or it is an external thing.
Yeah, but
not in the psychological world. Psychological world means your feelings, psychological happenings, thought, feeling. That is alone is the psychological happenings, where we cannot have any reference. But physically we have to do something. We have to escape from the things. We have to do something.
But to think, to act as robbery, it's a psychological fact, because I think I'm going to rob someone. If I think I'm going to rob someone.
So whatever we to do, only because of without our thinking, we cannot do anything externally. So we have to use our mind. What to do the thing in the external thing, you have to think correctly. So if you think I have to rob somebody, some bank or anything, so it is not correct. So you have to think correctly. Yes, to deal, that is not the good thing.
Yeah, no. But it was only to point out the fact that that also could be in my destiny, let's say, or in the writing of my life, or the book of God, that I'm going to rob someone.
That might be your destiny to go to jail.
Yeah, it will be my destiny.
We have to give up the spiritual world and the psychological world. When we give up the psychological world, the spiritual world also goes away. There will be no spiritual world if you delete the psychological world. The spiritual world is a part of the psychological world.
Yeah.
So when you give up this total psychological structure, the total spiritual world also goes away. The real world only, the natural world and the real world alone exist. And we have to do, we can use our intelligence to how we can do, what we can do, that we can think over, that we can work jointly. If you have serious enough to get a solution, we can surely we can get solution. Here, if you are interested to uphold some idea, then conflict alone is possible.
Yeah.
Here, upholding many ideas, set of ideas, this idea must serve communist idea, socialist idea, that is not necessary. The peace alone is the main thing.
Yes.
Some civilized way of living alone is the must. Then only we can think with regarding to that aspect. That we have to work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, let's say, and just take an example. We are people, we have greed. We want to be secure. Sometimes we will take just to feel this security, but we will take from somebody else that maybe he will miss that.
No.
And we might have the idea of ideal, maybe of sharing, of taking care of everybody, spreading equally. But actually, we are greedy. It is a fact. We can feel this fear of surviving and just act from it, you know, and regardless to others. And so in that way, so let's say I have this greed in my mind, but I know I cannot change it. I know it is there, it is part of the flow, it is part of my mind flow. So in that way you say I might not act upon it.
I have to accept it.
Not even accept, you just know it is there and you know you cannot do anything about it as...
And it will clear in itself, but physical things alone we have to plan.
Yeah.
We have to reconsider our way of life. That is a different thing. The psychological thing is a different thing and the physical thing is a different thing.
Okay, I ask, do you think with this liberated mind there will be greed and there will be...
Liberated mind will act intelligently. Then it cannot be, greed means what we can use. Even you can use greed, whatever it be. If it mixed with intelligence, it will do the good alone. You can be greed enough, you can be desirous, whatever you can use what you can, all your emotions with intelligence. If you mix all your emotion with intelligence, it will do good alone. And you can use your intelligence, you use your emotions to do the good to the society, to the situation.
But
something that you were saying as greed seemed to me just also to be survival instinct, because greed puts a big judgment on it. So beyond when you like really want something, you say, how can I get, that's greed. And what you were talking about seems more like a natural, yes, I need to survive, I need to have food, and maybe I'm putting myself first, but it's something because of physical survival. Just trying to make a distinction, because greed is
Greed is an emotion,
yes.
But if you mix with intelligence, we can do properly. So if the emotion is not the instrument, if emotion is the motive one, if the greed is the motive one, then the motivation make the wrong direction also. But if you do it properly with your intelligence, you can do good. You can use it positively. If you do it negatively, it will create problems. We can do it positively. So then it will do good for ourselves and do good for the society.
So there is a manner of trust here. you have the trust, inner trust in the natural flow of everything. That it is, as long as you don't control it, it goes to the right place.
No, but the trust will be natural. If you are sure you are all right, the trust will be natural, and you need not you need not worry about the trust. The trust is natural because if you have the free mind and you have the intelligence, the trust is also accompany with you,
Yeah.
and you need not worry about the trust. But if you give too much importance to trust, then only all the problem comes. Because I am having the trust that this is good, and everybody must accept this what I am saying. Because many people they cannot understand what we are trying to convey. But everything may have some transitory period, and we cannot impose anything to other people also. So the trust is not necessary here. The understanding and intelligence alone is enough, and then we can adjust with everything. Only through adjustment alone we can solve all. By forcing anything we cannot solve. Only through way of adjustment alone we have to solve the problem.